Bang. I am Jon Najarian, and this is 3 at 3. 3 at 3 every business day. I bring you unusual option activity, and then you can decide what you would like to do with it. Would you like to watch it? Would you like to paper trade it? Would you like to pretend to trade it like some people do? Or would you actually like to put on a trade? I'll also tell you how I am trading these positions. So with that said, let's get started. It is the 5th of March, 2021. Our disclaimer is that this is being presented for educational and informational purposes only, full stop. Before you get started on any of this, make sure that you understand the risks because all investments involve risk. Now for the intellectual property. Yes, we have registered marks, trademarks, copyrights, and patents on virtually everything you're about to see now. So before you just reproduce it and share it, we appreciate the share, but please ask us first. That's all we ask. All right, let's talk about this one, because yesterday, ExxonMobil made a 4% move. I'm sure some people, especially the haters out there, were saying, oh, after a 4% move, now Doc's buying more. He's going to get burned on this. Really? That was what we saw with the stock at 58.42. They were buying a lot of March 60 calls that expire in 2 weeks. 3 weeks, I'm sorry. And there's where the stock is today, up another 3.5%. And the calls that we were buying, the at-the-money calls, are already deep now in the money, and we've written upside calls against it. What I like to do, if you're a newbie, is I like to put on one-to-one call spreads. For every one call that I buy, if I sell one call, either as a spread to start or scale into it, buy one call, for instance, 58 strike, and then wait, and as if it rallies, start selling 59s or 60s or 61s, whatever you might decide on your own is a prudent sale against what you own. In many cases, I'm able to capture as much for the option I'm selling, which is several dollars higher than the option that I bought because of timing and getting to catch that wave. You've seen me and heard me say this perhaps many times, but Pete and I are like surfers. We start paddling when we feel that wave picking up, and we go with the direction. If it's bullish, calls trading on the offer, we go with that. If it's bearish, puts trading on the offer, we go with that. The stuff in between, we don't care so much about. How about this one, too? Chris Sikora, one of our noted analysts, was writing this one up. Option bulls strike a gusher in FANG. And indeed, we did. This was a November trade that they bought 5,600 of those 40 calls for about $5, give or take. And those calls traded up dramatically. And so we took a nice big fat profit. How much? Well, first of all, let's look at what those trades looked like. Back in November, we had two different trades hit. One was March 40 calls with the stock at 38.53. The other, later that same day, we saw March 45 calls. So when somebody's buying a call at the 40 strike, just above where the market is, and then even though the market softens just ever so slightly, they buy the 45 calls, the higher strike, they're telling us something. So indeed, take a look at also in mid-January when they were buying FANG at 62.78, and they were buying January of 2022 calls. Well, there's FANG today. It ain't 38.5, it ain't 38.17 or 62.78. It is indeed 86.09. Opened at 84, opened up nearly $3 from last night's close. Bang. And this gave us a chance to do what I was talking with my friends from IBD, Investors Business Daily, this morning. Chris, Alyssa, as well as Arusha. We were talking about rolling. And this is one of my favorite things to do with options. So somebody's right, and the stock's $60. We roll up to the 65s, take money off the table. Roll up to the 70s, take money off the table. Roll up to the 75s, take money off the table. 75 to 80, take money off the table. 80 to 85, take money off the table. You get the idea. That's what we try to do all the time. And in this case, my gosh, this was a tremendous trade. And as you've seen, we've had a lot of action in these energy plays, whether it's Diamondback, whether it's Marathon Petroleum, whether it's a pipeline provider, whether it's ExxonMobil, you get the idea. Bang! That'll work. And this is our daily crypto show. We have a show called the Daily Crypto Bite, B-Y-T-E, Bite. And it's presented by Voyager. Voyager is a registered broker in Canada. They trade on the Toronto Exchange up there. They also trade here on the OTC market. We're looking forward to when they can actually uplist to the NASDAQ because I think that'll be really positive for the stock. Full disclosure, I own Voyager, and they are a sponsor of our Daily Crypto Bite show. So you could go into our crypto room, which is almost identical to our unusual option activity, or UOA rooms, plural. You could go in there for $1 for the first month, $1, and decide, are these guys giving me enough value to justify paying $29, because that's the regular charge, $29 a month. If you decide they are, then you can subscribe after that first month that you paid just $1 for. You could subscribe to the full chat room on an ongoing basis for $29 a month. Still an incredible value. And when you hear and see what the people in the room are talking about as far as the altcoins and the Bitcoin entries and exits that our guys have called out, I think you'll think it's well worth the money. Try the crypto trading room, $1 a month for the first month. And you just need to go to marketrebellion.com/try crypto. That's marketrebellion.com/try crypto. All right, let's kick it off with Pete. Today's unusual options activity. There he is with Scott on the show earlier today. Pete talked about UNUM, and I believe he said Tennessee-based insurer. Stock was $27.72 when Pete got on air. They were buying the April 30 calls. There it is, 6,000 of those April 30 calls with the stock at 28.07. Note, it was slightly higher than when Pete was on air. And then Pete talked about that unusual activity on air, and the stock has moved back up to 28.43 at this point. Yes, we are in this trade because it is out there almost 2 months into the future, not quite 2 months. We're at the most rapid time decay is in those final 6 weeks. This is part of that. So that's why I'm pitching so hard on how I trade it. With for every option I buy, I sell an upside call against it to mitigate some of that time decay. It's not as extreme with an April option as it would be with regular March, but nonetheless, that's how I like to address it. We want to thank everybody for helping carry us over 14,000 subscribers. Seems just 2 weeks ago, we were talking about 10,000. Now we're up to 14,000. Appreciate all of you folks. This is what you get for free. You go to YouTube, you type in Market Rebellion. You hit that subscribe button right next to that big yellow arrow there. What do you get? Every day at 10:30 Eastern, you get Pete's The Take. At 10 a.m. Eastern, you get our daily crypto bite. 3 p.m. Eastern time. You also get podcasts that I do. This week's interview is with Martin Ford, who's starring in the new F9, which is Fast and Furious, the 9th edition. Martin is a great action star. He's also a bodybuilder, MMA fighter. He owns a number of companies for nutritional products, coaching, and strength training, and athletic wear. The guy's everywhere. He's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You get all of that when you subscribe to Market Rebellion on YouTube. Check it out. It's free. There's Pete talking about AbbVie. Stock's 105.12. With the stock there, Pete's talking about unusual option activity called buying, buying, buying. There it was. We said bullish call buying on our blog, 6,000 of the May 110 calls with the stock at 105. Now, many of you might be thinking to yourself, well, if they're buying those 110s, is that what I should buy? You got to decide what you should buy. I can't tell you. I'll tell you what I do. I buy the at the money and I sell an out of the money against it. I do that about 85% of the time. Why do I do that? I do that because I want to move the odds into my favor. By being at the money instead of out of the money, I only need a small move in the stock to make an outsized return. If I have those out of the money calls, I need kind of an outsized trade in the stock to spook people into covering or to get people bullish and buying in there. And that's not my game. My game is I want to have a lot of trades on, which is like having a lot of lines out on the back of the boat when you're fishing. And I want to have as much odds in my favor as possible for a fish to actually jump on one of those hooks. So that's what I do. There is AbbVie moving up nicely from that 105 level when we first cited it for our subscribers to now 106.27. I highlighted where it is and the day's range. We didn't buy the bottom at 104.08. We started to see that activity at 105, but it has worked out very nicely again so far. So be aware of time decay, even though these are May options. The time decay is not fierce, so you don't need to be as aware of time decay with a May option. Let's talk about purple. Purple, I bet you've seen the ads. Whenever you're not seeing John and Pete or Kevin O'Leary on an ad on CNBC, you're probably seeing a purple ad. I've seen a lot of them. And Purple is a mattress company as well as pillows and sleepwear, all kinds of things. Much like Casper and other companies that have started up and tried to attack that market by basically delivering to you in a box a custom-made mattress that once you open the box, the thing kind of expands dramatically. So I think these mattresses are great. When I'm in our New York office, I'll sleep on the, I think that's a Casper, but I'm not sure. But anyway, Purple. We're talking about Purple, so let me finish about that. PRPL, this one, stock at 30.73. They're buying the at the money March 30s. What do you need to know about that? One, these are regular March expiration. This is the 5th of March. So that means these options expire in 2 weeks. Not this week, not next week, the week after. 2 weeks from now, these options expire. They bought about 4,000 of those. That's 400,000 share equivalent because every option is for 100 shares. I bought these calls as well. Stock has moved up to 32. Now look at that big drop off. That was when they had an earnings announcement and the stock fell out of bed. That was yesterday that the stock fell out of bed. It closed at about 36 and had that big dramatic opening down and then bled off through the session. Today, it opened at 25.81, let's call it 26, and has rallied almost $6 from that opening price. Kind of like that. People were waiting for an opportunity to get in, and they took advantage of this $2 billion market cap company on that move lower yesterday and today. Like that. Got questions? We don't have time for them today, but we're going to get to them next week. You can send me on my Twitter account, which is at Jon Najarian, Jon, my dad was John, at Jon Najarian, Najarian, or at the number 3, the word at, the number 3 _ UOA. Always try to give you that for the folks that are listening on satellite radio. I know they appreciate it, so I keep doing it. Thank you very much. Like I say, we don't have time for the questions today, so instead I'm just going to leave you with our trading conference. Early bird pricing ends next Friday. We've already sold out the highest levels of this conference already. We are trying to get more rooms because Vegas reopening, baby, bang, is what's going to be happening. And we're going to have our best lineup ever out in Las Vegas, Nevada, October 1st and 2nd. You want to see all about it, see who we've been able to announce so far? Go to marketrebellion.com and check it out. We've had Kevin O'Leary out there. We've had Mark Fisher out there. We've had so many fabulous investors, traders that can give you insights into how you can be a better investor and or trader. Check it out. October 1st and 2nd, Las Vegas, baby, at the Aria. I hope we see you there. Remember, special pricing ends next Friday. Thank you for joining me today, folks. I hope you have a great day wherever you are, and we'll get to your questions, including that one like I saw there yesterday from Tito Ortiz. We'll get to those questions next week. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody, and a fabulous weekend. Bang!